Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. Today is Friday, September 1st, 2017, and I usually take a break Fridays and Saturdays and do videos from Sunday through Thursday, but there's so much important information regarding your iPhone, regarding the scam, charity, mainstream organizations robbing people from Hurricane Harvey, and alternatives to the CIA Google Chrome browser that I couldn't stop, and I'm making this video now. And on top of that, we are also going to be talking about the latest information about the war in Syria, Donald Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner being in financial trouble with his 666 Fifth Avenue building, and yeah, of course, how the police think that they actually own your blood. But before starting today's stories, I personally wanted to issue a personal apology and retraction to my audience. Yesterday, I released a very important videos about the dangers of Google and everything that we needed to look out for. At the end of the video, I mentioned how Firefox was a better, safer alternative to Google Chrome, and as this amazing community that we have here on We Are Change, you let me know in the comment section below that I was absolutely wrong. Because just days ago, Mozilla Firefox said that they were going to join the fight against fake news, and they're going to do that in cooperation by a George Soros-linked left-wing group. And as we've seen by Google and Facebook, that is just an excuse to censor voices like us. So I apologize sincerely from my heart. I was totally wrong, and that's why I'm issuing this retraction. And in the description below of this video, I will actually send you another link to better alternative internet browsers that, of course, have more privacy, speed, and freedom than Firefox and Google Chrome now. It's important for all of us to admit when we're wrong, and I wanted to thank the community for keeping me honest and accountable to the real news you expect from me. I try to be as clairvoyant and as honest as I can on this YouTube channel, and a big part of that is listening to your criticism and your comments, and also learning from you. Having good alternative against the CIA Google monopoly corporation is extremely important since they are coming after critics of academia and journalism. And it's important for all of us to work together to stop them. And we could do that by going to other alternatives than YouTube, like DTube, which we have just set up a channel on, and is a decentralized cryptocurrency-backed online video streaming service, which I highly recommend you check out and watch our videos on that platform instead of this YouTube, Google, Alphabet, CIA monopoly corporatocracy that is destroying free speech. Now, moving forward, another horrible corporatocracy news, Apple just announced that they're going to be soon releasing the new iPhone 8. And surprise, 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 all your old iPhones are being deliberately slowed down right before this new release, which has been confirmed in a study by students at Harvard University that proves how Apple engages in planned obsolescence. See, I was going to say if you don't know what planned obsolescence is, please Google it, but let's stop using that term Google. Go to DuckDuckGo and research what planned obsolescence is, because it's an incredibly vicious business strategy that deliberately shortens the lifespan of your tech devices, ruins the environment for more corporate profits and bad business practices. There is a reason why there is still a light bulb in a fire station in Livermore, California that is still on and is burning since 1901. And that's because it was manufactured before planned obsolescence in the 1890s. And this is an extremely cruel business practice that not only screws you, the consumer, but also the people who have to mine these rare metals, the people who have to put them together in slave factories, and of course just cause harm not only for us, but also the environment. Now, in other horrible business practice news, we have the biggest business of all, and that of course is charity scams. In the wake of the destruction that Hurricane Harvey caused Texas, many people are doing the right thing and seeing their fellow citizens in need, and they're helping them out. But there is something sinister and evil happening that you need to know about, because most big charity organizations like the Red Cross, which are being promoted to you now in order to help the people in Texas, are just outright scams. And they have been exposed as scams in several investigations. The Red Cross CEO has been lying to donors about where their money goes. We learn about incidents in Haiti where the Red Cross has raised almost $500 million, to which 25% of which went to internal expenses. And with that $500 million, built just 6 homes. Please, people, think before you donate. I have this very important chart that will also be linked in the description below telling you, for example, how the CEO of UNICEF collects $1.2 million per year, drives around in a Rolls Royce, while less than 5% of your donations to the dollar actually goes to the cause that you're donating to. And down below, we have good organizations organizations like the American Legion, where the national commander actually receives a $0 salary, and your donations actually go to the cause that you're donating to. So if you can, especially in this time of need for our citizens, let's get this infographic out there, share it to your friends and family members, and let's make sure these unethical businesses are shut down without us supporting them. Now, in other news, we are also finding out this week that a Bulgarian journalist uncovered how 350 diplomatic flights were used by the CIA to carry weapons for terrorists. This journalist blew the lid on a secret program that provided weapons to terrorists in Iraq and Syria, as well as anti-Houthi militants in Yemen, through secret documents that were leaked to her by an anonymous source, the documents of which are scanned in this reporter's original article. And you would think this journalist, from uncovering such a big story, would be up to win the Pulitzer. You think her story would make national headline news everywhere. But no. The opposite happened. She was actually interrogated and fired for uncovering the truth about weapon supplies to terrorists inside of the Middle East. And this is a very important story that needs to get out there to everyone, especially since Donald Trump said that he would stop financing rebel groups inside of Syria, but yet this program is still continuing covertly and secretly behind our backs. Now, of course, this was never a surprise to us since we've been reporting on the U.S. government financially supporting terrorists in the Middle East for years now, showing you documents, evidence, photos, videos of U.S. airdrops delivering weapons to ISIS directly into their hands. But if that wasn't enough evidence for you, there's another article that just came out today that shows how Syrian rebel defectors say that the U.S. trained their unit and sold arms to ISIS. The evidence of this is overmounting, but yet still has been widely denied by the mainstream. And people like myself and others who have been telling you about this have been labeled fake news and conspiracy theorists. And in reality, the proof is right in front of us. Now, as we warned you earlier this week, the situation and war in Syria is far from over and at a very dangerous and critical point, especially vulnerable to more potential false flags. And the evidence of that has been very well documented by Syrian Girl, whose video will be in the description below, which included a video that came out from Syria that was made with the white helmets on site, teaching Syrian children about how to fake a chemical weapons attack. This video is truly unbelievable, and you have to see it for yourself. And the threat of another U.S. war is at an all-time high, especially with Donald Trump being surrounded with more military contractors, people from Goldman Sachs and other globalists surrounding his administration, to where just this week he nominated Mark Esper to be the new Army Secretary, and this is a man who earned $1.5 million within just the last 12 months as an official lobbyist for Raytheon. Now, what do you think a lobbyist for one of the biggest military contractors will do as Army Secretary? Think about that for a second. Now, in great detail, we went over the potential for another war within the United States in this video that will also be in the description below, that was mainly an expose on Jared Kushner and his latest trip to the Middle East. A very important video that you should watch, but to add to that video, we're also learning another financial troubling past of Jared Kushner, who is Donald Trump's son-in-law and also his top advisor, who we're finding out actually owes hundreds of millions of dollars for a building he owns underneath the address 666 Fifth Avenue. Now, his family's real estate business is having a very hard time paying off the mortgage and has failed to even secure foreign investors in this real estate property. He has even reached out to Israel, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and other financially wealthy individuals, and has failed to secure an investment of the $1.2 billion mortgage that he has till February 2019 to pay off. And this is the man that Donald Trump is sending over to the Middle East in order to negotiate supposed peace deals, and the same man who gets on the phone with Lockheed Martin to negotiate better deals for Saudi Arabian weapons deals, which to me signals another troubling aspect of Donald Trump's administration, especially when you have someone in such economic troubles who's looking for a major loan from these big countries and their wealthy individuals to be doing the bidding and negotiating for the United States. Let me know if you think I'm wrong in the comment section below. Now, in other horrible people news, we are getting horrific video coming out of Utah at a university hospital where a nurse was chased around and attacked by police officers, where she was dragged around and assaulted because she refused to give a patient's blood to the police. Now, this incident happened in late July, but we're finally seeing the video from the body camera of police officers who demanded that this nurse take blood from an unconscious patient without a warrant, without consent from the patient, and without the patient being under arrest. Now, after this incident, we're learning that the police officer has been suspended. There is an ongoing investigation, and of course, we're going to be following this story very closely. And this is a shameful incident that sadly paints a bad light on all police officers, but should bring up to question, why should we give the police more military tools and weapons on the streets in the United States? And this should bring into question the encroaching police state powers that Donald Trump is giving to police forces all across this country. I mean, we're already getting to a point where the police officers think that they own your blood. How much further can we go? So yeah, that is the news for today. If you found it useful and insightful, please share it with your friends and family members. Don't forget to check us out on steemit.com/@LukeWeAreChange, which is sort of like a Reddit, Facebook alternative to real important information that of course is enabled by the blockchain and works with cryptocurrencies for not just the producer of content, but also you, the viewer. I love you guys. Thank you again so much for watching.